British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is still insisting the UK-France relations are very friendly. To talk more about this with me now, let's bring in Benedict Pavio in London. Benedict, cancelling a meeting a bit last minute like that does not sound like very friendly behavior. Is this just another sign that France is having a hard time moving past all of this?
Well, clearly, the moving on is problematic. And let's remember that the UK and France are trusted allies, the most powerful nations in Western Europe on the military level, both nuclear powers, of course. And although the row isn't nuclear, it's very serious. The diplomatic row is escalating by the day. The rhetoric is increasing and the consequences are multiplying. And we knew about the recall of the US ambassadors, both in Washington and in Canberra. Let's point out that the French ambassador in London has not been recalled, but that, according to Jean-Yves Le Drian, is because of the traditional opportunism, I quote him, translate him, of course, of the UK, perceived as such by Paris. So this latest cancellation of the talks between the French Defence Minister Florence Parly and her British counterpart Ben Wallace is just one more casualty in this ongoing row. So you said quite rightly that the British Prime Minister, who has flown to New York for the UN General Assembly, he has really tried to play this down, saying, pointing out the friendship between the two countries. And I think that the sentence that will jump out to particularly the French government and the French president is when Johnson says France has nothing to worry about from the AUKUS deal. It's not supposed to be exclusionary, and that the existing Anglo-French relations are ineradicable, apart from the fact that that's not a word that is most people are probably going to be rushing to the dictionary to understand. They are very strong military alliances, and really this AUKUS pact has become more than awkward.
Indeed. The pact, though, we have to mention, could be quite good for the UK that's been worried about its future post-Brexit.
Well, clearly, the British government, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, let's remember this was a joint global live-streamed announcement, unprecedented. You've got a US President, Joe Biden, in Washington. You've got an Australian Prime Minister, Mr. Morrison, in Canberra. And you've got Boris Johnson in London live streaming. And that's where France, this AUKUS pact, the announcement of that, and that is where France has felt totally blindsided, not to mention the £1 billion deal that it had struck in 2016 back then. But you're right, we are here very much in the UK in a post-Brexit, almost, world. Certainly the UK has left the European Union, this much vaunted expression, global Britain, and it is the British Prime Minister saying that, pointing out that this is not just about submarines. This AUKUS pact is also significant because of the capability collaboration between the defence, the intelligence, all of this. But what must not be forgotten is that Britain and France are also very much on the defence side cooperating, as been pointed out by British sources here this morning again, in Mali, in Iraq. So it must be hoped that some solution, some understanding, but that will be found. But how will that be done? Well, that will be done by possibly secret talks. But for the moment, the public rift is all too plain for the world to see.
Benedict, thank you for that. Benedict Pavio there reporting from London.